Bible adventure number 11. God answers a prayer. This one is based on Genesis 24. It was evening when Abraham's servant arrived at the town, and the girls were all coming out to draw water from the well. As the servant watched them coming, he asked God to help him to find the right one to be Isaac's wife. How could he ever know? This is what he decided to do. He would ask one of the girls to give him some water from her pitcher. If she answered him with a smile and said, "Yes, and I'll water your camels too," then she would be the one God had chosen to be Isaac's wife. But if she grumbled and wouldn't give him water, then she wouldn't be the right one. While he was still praying, a beautiful girl named Rebecca came, carrying her pitcher on her shoulder. She went down to the well and filled it with water. The servant ran over to her and said, "Please give me a drink from your pitcher." "Certainly, sir," she replied, "and I'll water your camels too." She let down her pitcher from her shoulder and gave the servant a drink, and then ran back to the well and began drawing water for the camels. After the camels had finished drinking, the man gave Rebecca a gold earring and two gold bracelets. He asked her whose daughter she was and whether there was room at her father's house for him and his men to spend the night. Rebecca told him she was the daughter of Bethuel and that there was plenty of room. When the servant heard her say she was Bethuel's daughter, he realized that she was a cousin of Isaac's, for Abraham was Bethuel's uncle. He was glad, so he bowed his head and worshiped the Lord, thanking God for helping him to find the right girl so quickly. Rebecca ran home to tell her mother the men were coming. When her brother Laban heard about it and saw the earring and the bracelets, he ran to the well to find the man and to bring him home. After Laban had helped him unload the camels and feed them, it was time for supper. So Laban took Abraham's servant in to meet the family. But the servant said he couldn't eat until he had told them why he had come to their country. He said that he was Abraham's servant and that the Lord had blessed Abraham and made him very rich. He had silver and gold, flocks and herds, camels and donkeys. God had also given him a son, Isaac, who needed a wife. He told how he had come to the well that day and had prayed that God would help him to find the right girl to be Isaac's wife. He had prayed that if she was the right one, she would answer pleasantly when he asked for water. He told them that while he was still praying, Rebecca had arrived. When he asked her for a drink, she had said, "Of course, and I'll water your camels too." Then the servant asked them whether or not they would let Rebecca go with him to marry Isaac. They said yes, since it was the Lord who had brought him to them, and Rebecca could go. When the servant heard this, he was very happy and worshiped the Lord. He brought out other beautiful presents, jewels of gold and silver, and beautiful clothing, and gave them to Rebecca. And he gave her mother and her brother presents too. At last, he and his men were ready to eat, and afterwards they stayed at Laban's house all night. Now here are our questions. How did Abraham's servant find the right girl? Who was she? Why do you think God answered the servant's prayer so quickly? Next time, we're going to read Bible adventure number 12. It's called Rebecca Says Yes, and it will be based on Genesis 25, I believe. It doesn't say, so we're going to have to check.